But I actually think it's worth taking a second and thinking about, even as a whole, that when I communicate well for my nonprofit, and Laura communicates well for her nonprofit, and Lenny does for his, that actually helps change the perceptions of what a nonprofit is. I loved Robert's comment today about nonprofit doesn't mean no profit, right? There are so many misperceptions about what nonprofits are, and if together, if we can communicate well individually, we actually can help raise the profile of the entire sector. So what I want to talk today about some things that, it may be hard for us in this quick talk to get you as visible as Target, but let's see if there's some things you can take away that you can start thinking about how to raise your brand. Well, let's talk about Starbucks for a second. I go to the Starbucks in the lobby downstairs in the O'Hare Airport, across the street from my old office in Brooklyn. What happens when I go into that? Is it 3 different experiences?
They're familiar, they're comfortable.
Familiar, they're the same.
Comfortable.
Comfortable, you know what you're going to get, right? If I fall in love with the new Cool Lime Refresher drink, I can get that in all 3 places. So there's something, the thing about it is there is a sort of what we call effective frequency and consistency that we see happening. These brands have also been around for a while. And the reason why we know them, like Target and that red bullseye, right? It doesn't even say Target on there, but did I spoiler alert? Did everyone know that was Target? So they stick that on their bags, they stick it everywhere you go, it's on their commercials. I mean, even Target, and Old Navy even, the second I see a commercial, I know it's them, because they've used that same approach, and it feels familiar. The thing about, within many nonprofits that I know, hopefully none of you in this room, there's something about consistency that feels boring to us, so we avoid it like a plague. It's our annual report, let's not put out the same thing, let's do something different. It's our gala, it's our conference, it's our event. Let's use a different color. Let's use a different typeface. In fact, let's use 3 on the same piece of paper. Let's be creative. Here's the thing, I want you to be creative, but I want you to take away consistency from today's conversation, and that there's actually something to be said for that familiar. I liked how Robert spoke this morning about how he's a recycler. He's about taking advantage of, taking use of what you have, as opposed to always reinventing the wheel. So keep those ideas in mind. It used to be, we had to worry about getting ourselves in the mail, picking up the phone, and talking to that guy in the street, right? That was the general way of, those were the channels we had to worry about maybe 15, 20 years ago. It's not like that anymore. There are a lot more communications channels and a lot more work you have to do. So, it used to be the old school ways, and there's still something there for the old school ways. And one of the things that worked back then was about relationships. The best way you can get something done is by collaborating and working well with people. That's still the case, but this is the world we're living in. The person we're trying to reach is dealing with a lot of noise and a lot of communications coming at them. And the way to reach them is by being consistent and clear and compelling. One of the things that we like to do as an exercise is take the past 2 years of past 2 years of your communications materials and put it out on the table. So this is something you can easily do at home. Look at your annual reports, your newsletters, your postcards, your mailing, print out even a few pages from Facebook, your website, your e-newsletters, whatever it is that you send out for the past 2 years. Now, chances are the person who's getting these materials, maybe they're not getting everything, maybe they're not getting it all at once and putting it on their kitchen counter. But what is the story your organization tells just quickly visually? This is one organization that's a social service agency in New York. And this is what they looked like when we started checking out their brand. And what we see is there's a bunch of different colors. This event had this story, this gala had this story. They have 180 small programs. They all communicated with their own grassroots flyers with clip art and all this good stuff. Now, the organization in its defense said, well, we don't really have a communication staff. We put most of 93 cents of every dollar toward the program work, which is great. And we don't want to appear too slick. So we think this sort of grassroots approach is okay. I believe that you can pull it together and look a little bit more cohesive and consistent without being slick and turning people off. And that, again, what I hope you get from some of today.